Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Occult Perspectives. Hope your day or evening is going well so far. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear me a little bit better in this video because I know the last time I recorded a video like this, it didn't pick up the audio very well, but I also don't want to yell at the phone, so I'm just going to talk at a comfortable volume like this while trying to stay close to the phone. I will be getting a new phone very soon, within the next couple of days, so that should help things out in the near future. So my name is Tyler Smith. This channel is Occult Perspectives. What I do on here is I break down different esoteric research subjects and discuss them. We talk about ceremonial magic, we talk about archangels, we talk about the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, Freemasonry, and a lot of other related subjects. Also want to give a shout out to my patrons, Cory Falcone, or Cory Falcone, not sure how that last name is pronounced. Thank you, brother. Joseph Arthur is a very good friend of mine as well. I know Joseph personally. And Nicholas. So those are my three patrons so far. I will put them in the description of this video, and I will also leave a link to the Patreon. So this video, what I wanted to do is there was a question about star seeds, and I think it was from an Annabelle. I tried looking for your comment back in the video, and I could not find it. And I'm not sure everything that you asked about star seeds, but I'm just going to go ahead and give you a brief overview of what I know about star seeds. You know, back when I did the star seed videos, that was a while ago. And I just started this channel, and I was still pretty new to the subject of star seeds. As I said in those videos, I know some people that exhibit traits of certain star seeds. You know, there's even certain star seeds that I really resonate with. I think that I might come from that, place or location. Because Earth, as I've described to myself, it often feels like this very strange world that I'm stuck on, like I'm very alien to it. It doesn't really seem like it's the right place. But it is, because everything, is happening for a reason. But physical experience is awesome. It's cool to be human, but the way that everyone's kind of, no one really, they're so distracted and they don't really know what's going on. So it's kind of a hard world to exist in sometimes, just because everyone's so caught up in things that are pretty unimportant. And for me, being a more methodical soul, being a more speculative soul, I just I like to sit back and observe, and I'm not always trying to get caught up in things. And always, not always like desiring a whole bunch of things either. I have like those very, very few things that I really enjoy, those few things that I like, those things that bring me joy. And I'm not trying to chase a whole bunch of other things that they want to program the human species or the mass collective to go and chase after, those sorts of things. So Earth just feels kind of like a weird place. So to have that homesickness, I can really resonate with that as far as the starseed information goes. As to the validity of it all, there's definitely different races. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on any of that stuff. What race, has what agenda, and, you hear about like the Star Council or the Federation, I think it is, which is like a collection or group of all these starseed races that are kind of like watching over this planet and other, star systems and whatnot. And what are their objectives really at the end of the day? What are they really all about? I'm not really sure. So I'm not trying to like really tap in or communicate with any of those particular races or star seeds, or trying to channel any of that kind of stuff. So I would just warn, make sure you try to find good information. I find it hard to find a lot of info on the starseed stuff. There's a really good documentary on Gaia. It's either a documentary or a show and I actually cannot think of what it is named off the top of my head. I might be able to search it here on the computer. But that one, that video series really resonates with kind of the Starseed theme. Let's see. Yeah, I am not sure what the name of that show was, but it shouldn't be too hard to find if you have Gaia TV. I highly recommend looking up the show. And what it is it's one of the star seeds. Basically, there's a person that's channeling the message from her, and it's like a question and answer kind of thing. And she asks a question, and then there's an answer that's received. And the reason it seems so valid to me is because the answers were pretty, they were very thorough and almost scientific sounding, in balance with the spirituality. So that kind of made it seem more genuine to me. Oh, this is what it is. The Taigetans, that's the race that they talk about in this show. Galactic Messages, that's the Gaia TV show that I recommend if you want to learn more about the Starseed stuff. But yeah, just be careful, like what, race of beings you're trying to channel, and, because even these positively polarized beings, we don't always know what their, end goal or real agenda is, and sometimes that's really against our own best interest, so just be careful with that. But yeah, overall, the Starseed information is interesting, I think, and we could all, a lot of us that are drawn to this type of information and knowledge could very well be Starseeds. So I'm definitely not putting out the possibility of that. But that's just kind of a brief overview of what I know about Starseeds, in addition to like the little bit of research that I did in those old videos that I have on YouTube, which are, that's probably been about 3 years now since I've done those videos. So I've kind of evolved and changed my spiritual views a lot, but I'm always game for gaining like new information and learning new things. So if you know of any Starseed videos or anything, any of you, if you want to comment, that has a lot of, detailed information about Starseeds and like how to practically use that in a way that helps you, connect with your own higher self, I would invite you to share that in the comments section, and then I can share that with other people. So hopefully that answers any questions you had about the Starseed, the whole Starseed thing, and at least where to look. And then if you have any other questions, as always, just comment. The second half of this video, I am going to talk about an interesting subject that I've wanted to talk about for a little while now. Not really sure how I'm going to go about describing it, but usually the way that when I try to talk about these types of subjects, they just kind of just come across. It's just going to be kind of channeled in a way. So let's get into it a little bit. The dark side of angels, more specifically, archangels, because angels is 95 to 100% of the spirits that I consciously have worked with. I've performed rituals such as the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram, the middle pillar. All of these things utilize archangels, more so in the advanced version of the middle pillar, where at each stop, you can even envision all of the archangels on the tree of life on your body, as you're doing the middle pillar. And that creates a lot of energy, it really taps you into the angelic energies. So let's go ahead. and start talking about the other side of archangels that maybe, you know, others aren't really talking about too much, or that you haven't heard about, or that, you know, people, maybe they just haven't experienced angelic energies in this way. But essentially, archangels are not really, it's not so black and white. Even though they represent the positive polarity, whereas the demons represent the more the negative polarity, or the denser aspects, or the darker aspects of the universe, the angels are going to be more light and luminescence. But where there is a lot of illuminating light, you know, it sometimes light can be blinding, and sometimes light can confuse and disorient, and it can shoot you back down if you're not ready to receive those energies. So let's get into this a little bit deeper. So as archangels, as these positively polarized, you know, even if like the 72 angels of the Shem operation and the 72 demons of the Goetia, these have their correspondences in the zodiac. That's what that is referring to. They represent different aspects in the cosmos, as well as within us. So they're really just different degrees of existence. So when you're working with the archangels, it's more about you are helping to, in the tree of life universe, universe A, you are manifesting things in the world through working with the archangels in that universe A tree. But it does come at a price. So you can manifest good energies, and you can, you know, manifest things, external things, you know, kind of like fixed situations, if you will. But in essence, it's almost like there is this more sacrificial type energy to the angels, whereas the demons are going to draw energy more to you. The angels kind of pull the energy from you and use your energy to produce the matrix. Because these archangels, and see, what I'm trying to do is kind of, I'm pulling knowledge from a bunch of different sources, just books that I've read and so many videos that I've watched over time. I've just seen so many different viewpoints on these things that I'm just kind of trying to cover a lot of perspective and angles in this video that may not normally be talked about. But if we view these archangels as, rather than being, you know, everything is ordained by source, so everything has its purpose in the cosmos. But the archangels, in a way, working more for this demiurge, or this being that created the physical world. Perhaps there's some connection with this being, this demiurge, and even Yaldabaoth too, which is, you know, the light god, or the male. It's the male light principle, as opposed to the primordial dark feminine principle. So it's actually, that came after the feminine void. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and darkness was without form and void. They're talking about the dark, and then the light came. So you had the Ein, and then you had the Ein Sof, and then the Ein Sof Or, which those are more light manifestations. So this demiurgic energy, even though that it is artificial in nature, it's not that it's evil per se, but it is possible that these archangels are like the archons to this demiurge. So that is one perspective. A lot of people that, you know, are more like churchgoers or more Christian, they might just see the angels as like these heavenly, celestial, you know, God-oriented beings. But in reality, it's not that they're good or evil beings. It's more that they just like perform a specific function under the auspices of Source. Damien Eccles even says that archangels work almost like, they almost work more like, it's like a program. Think of a program in a computer, how it just kind of does its function. And then fallen angels and demons are more kind of like, quote, fallen means they're actually like more awake. It's in the same way that when humans, think of when humans were in the garden and they didn't know any better, and then they ate, of the fruit, and then their eyes were open, so they were actually like initiated into knowing, and knowing as the gods do. It's just, think of the archangels just performing their duties on a very high level, so it's like a higher Garden of Eden in a way, but they just kind of perform their functions on a very high level of reality. And it's not so much that it's like they serve that role in a way that is almost like kind of sacrificial, because they're not getting the true. See, these concepts are so hard to explain because it goes so deep, and a lot of this information is not going to make sense unless you're someone who's like studied the occult or esoterica. But these angels could be just mere like demiurges that run the matrix, but there is a divine connection that keeps them closer. They come from source, and they perform these functions that are very important to creation and evolution in general, but it's done more in an automatic type way rather than a full like them being aware type way, if that makes sense. Whereas the fallen angel and the demon energy is going to be more, more negative polarity, even though it plays the same energetic, just as important of an energetic role. It's a little bit more separated from that light source, but the darker polarity entities kind of work more with the Ein, with the dark aspect. So it might just sound confusing, me trying to say this, all of this stuff, but just trying to show you a different way to, potentially view these archangels, and not that they're just some simple beings of light, that just do God's every will and bidding, but that sometimes the archangels will do things that are not maybe in your own personal favor, but more in the favor of the source that it's automatically working and functioning for, if that makes sense. Whereas the demons might like more serve you on a personal level, like give you more what you want. So the angels, in a way, they are going to demand more of a sacrificial energy from you in some ways, which can be viewed as a darker aspect of them. And me, someone who's worked a lot with angelic energies, I've noticed things where they do test you. It's not like they're just like these fuzzy like beings of light, although they do appear luminescent and almost like holographic. That's just how they show up. But it doesn't mean, that they're just these like super friendly, fluffy, creatures or whatever. They bring a lot of strictness and kind of firmness in their energy. So that is important to take into account. And it seems to be that they even can take parts of your soul to help manifest the physical world. And they're doing it in the way that it needs to be done, especially if you're purposefully giving up some of your energies for in kind of a martyr type way, because we realize that we're not going to be here forever as this particular form. We always continue to transform, and we move on, as source, or the force, if you want to look at it in that way, in different modes of existence. So knowing when to set aside and allow the energies to use your energies to manifest the proper things in the matrix, because source at the end of the day is overseeing it all anyway. So if you think of the front of the tree of life as like the flower itself, but the clipoth and the darker regions of the tree are more the roots. Now the roots are more closer to source because the roots come first, but the flower, that final product, even if we view this matrix or the universe, a tree of life, as that, it is more it might be artificial in some ways, but it's still giving the experience that needs to be experienced by that soul at that particular time. So the darker road and the more digging into the roots and getting into the deepest, darkest parts of one's psyche is work that's more advanced, in my opinion. So that's why I don't work with demons yet. Not because I think that it's bad, not because that I think that it's evil, not because I'm even afraid of it, but because you need to set aside that time, and you have to be a little more serious with those energies when you're invoking those energies, because they're dense, they're powerful, and they come in strong. I've only slightly worked with some of the darker energies, consciously in that way, and I see that they are very powerful, so they're not to be trifled with, but neither are the archangel energies. The archangel energies can they can take a lot out of you, and they can even, it's commonly thought of that demons feed on like sexual energy. It seems more that like the demons can bring others' sexual energy to you, especially if somebody has like a succubus or an incubus that they can control. They could probably go and get that energy from someone, or Lilith is known to go and harvest energy like that as well. But the archangels, they almost use like your sexual energy to do that work on the matrix, or the tree of life reality. So yeah, these are just some different viewpoints. I hope that maybe something is clicking, or you're just able to see it from a slightly different perspective, to know that it's not always so simple and so black and white. And another way these archangels will test you is if you're not really ready to rise up the tree. If there's things you're not really ready to let go of, if there's even parts of yourself that are still really dark, and you haven't like worked through your darkness, your primal, we could say even like your primal urges. If you try to rise too high up the tree without nourishing the roots, the clipothic aspects of being, some of these darker aspects of being, you will get shot back down. You might be really high up there on the tree, but you descend again. And so you have to have your feet firmly planted in Malkuth, and the more connection you have with the roots, Malkuth being the surface level, the Klipoth and the roots being underneath, and the tree of life being the flower above. If you're truly going to rise and be this star, this is something they don't tell you about a lot in ceremonial magic, especially with like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, and even beginner, rituals like this, is that it lights up your presence on the astral realm. So that's going to be a cause for beings like demons and stuff you're going to attract other beings as well when you're working with, the angels, and working with lighting up the geometry on the astral plane, the pentagrams and all these things. You're going to attract maybe unwanted attention. So if you don't actually have your shit together, it makes it easier for you to, quote, fall, to these negative beings. Not that it's anything to, worry or be scared about. As long as you're strong, and, you will be drawn to the information that you need to be drawn to. If you're more negatively polarized, and the demon path, seems more what you're into, then I recommend, you follow YouTube channels such as Universal Mastery, Curtis Joseph, Cosmic Observer, and they all work with, angels and demons. So it's not that it's all just one thing, but they have a lot more information on the negative polarity and those aspects, the Klipothic tree and all of that, than I do. I've only worked almost exclusively with angels. So I just have a lot of information that I can share from the experiences of working with those particular beings. So, and then an angel like Lucifer, while he's not like purely like demonic, I see him as kind of this intermediary force where he can guide you through all the dark realms, but he also works for ultimate source and is the light bearer, much in a way that like Raziel, the archangel Raziel, he's one of those angels. he's one of those angels that are less just autonomous and like just performing its function. Like Raziel is, he helped Adam and Eve, receive certain knowledge. Whatever the god was that was guarding the garden, whether this is Yahweh, Jehovah, Yaldabaoth, whatever you want to see this, being as. It didn't punish Raziel when he gave Adam and Eve the knowledge, which is kind of interesting. Whereas Lucifer, trying to have that same knowledge and stuff as God, did get punished. So Raziel, I've done a video on Lucifer and Raziel and kind of the connection between those two angels a little bit. And they both have kind of like this thing where it's like the Promethean, bearing the torch for humanity and bringing the light of the gods or the gnosis of the gods to mankind. So they play more of that, quote, fallen angel type role where they're not just, you see this a lot in society where there's people who just blindly obey orders. Not that it's a bad thing, that's actually what they're meant to do. That's actually the function that they're meant to perform. But some people do it more out of a mode of just automatically doing it, and then others, they kind of see where they're kind of helping both sides. They're helping the order and the structure, but they're also giving knowledge where it needs to be given so that the correct catalysts for evolution can take place. So, alrighty, I didn't even think this video was going to go this long. So there must be some things that I really just needed to get out there. So hopefully some of this information, resonates with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Once again, I thank all of you for subscribing to this channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers now, so the channel is growing. I have the Patreon now as well. So just thank you all for the love and support. For being a part of this, and this has just been an amazing journey, being able to share this type of information and being able to connect with like-minded people, because it's very important that we just keep our heads up in these times, because sometimes things seem kind of difficult and the world's crazy, and I know that like mental health and all of that is a big thing, so we just need to be looking out for the ones we love and looking out for ourselves, taking care of ourselves. And if we stay on this path of like learning and growing, of illumination, we will be guided by the universe, we will be protected, we will be manifested and taken to the places that we need to, whatever place is right for us at the right time. So I think I am going to go ahead and end the video there. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So thank you everyone once again. Have a great night or day wherever you are and whatever time it is. So peace and blessings everyone. Until next time.